Ladies first.
Okay, my name's Nezreen, also known as Nez. I'm a personal trainer and Muay Thai coach, and I'm working full-time, teaching classes and training clients.
My name is Salah. I'm known as the Beast. I'm a 3-time world champion and I'm also a firefighter. I got into sports and fitness when I was about 15, 16. Growing up in northwest London, it was quite a rough area. Obviously, me being the older, so I had to look after myself, look after my younger brother and sisters, and it's a jungle out there, so you kind of have to, it's the survival of the fittest. So my dad thought it would be a good idea to put me into the gym to learn how to.
Extra energy.
Yeah, I did. I had loads of extra energy, obviously. Put me in the gym, and he thought it'd be a good idea, instead of fighting on the streets and getting into trouble. I'd use up all my energy in the gym. He said to me that you could, if you work as hard as some of the other local boys, you can become world champion. And that was my goal and target ever since.
And how did I get into it? So I've always done sports competitively, whether it's swimming, weightlifting, stuff like that. But I think I was around 20, and I just knew that I'd be good at some kind of boxing, martial art. So I did a little bit of boxing, enjoyed it, but didn't feel like it was the kind of workout that I was looking for. Kind of wanted something a bit more full body, a bit more self-defense in there. And then I went to a Thai boxing gym in Burnt Oak, and which was Miners Halls at the time. I went in there and I remember walking into that gym, everyone had their wraps off. Everyone had their wraps on, and I was like, this looks so serious. So I had my first session there, and it was literally the hardest workout I'd ever done. And I think I finished that hour just thinking, I've done sports at a really good level, like my whole life. How was this so hard? It literally took everything out of me, and I said, I've got to get good at this. So yeah, I literally walked in that gym and then kept going back.
I don't know her. This is the first time I've met her. We met. I think about 6 or 7 years ago now. She came into the gym. Obviously, I was top of the tree.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was love at first punch. That's what I like to say. And she punched me so
He's
hard.
been basically following me around ever since, so I haven't been able to get rid of him. So I just thought,
she just punches me so hard. That's it. I'm just.
So technically we're husband and wife, but I think he's just following me around.
Yeah, something like that. Shall I show you? Should we get some gloves on? Because that's the best way to show you how we work together. I'm quite lucky because we have the same interests, and we've known each other for years. She's been with me before, I was world champion, before a lot of the important things happened for me in the sport. So she knows firsthand, some of the struggles that I've been through, cutting weight, looking for the opportunities, fighting all over the world. So I'm quite lucky and blessed in that sense, because she's been with me before, she's with me now, and she's very, very supportive. Don't tell her I said that.
To be honest, I think that all that stuff that you mentioned about the fights and cutting weight, that stuff's a lot harder than working together. Like working together, we've got the same vision, we've got the same goals. We're just two very passionate people about, fitness and Thai boxing, and I think it just makes it a lot easier to work together. We've got different ways of doing things, like
I punch and kick my way through.
I'm more organised.
Yeah.
No, we've got different ways of doing things, but we come together, and I think it's like, where I'm lacking some things, he's maybe got a bit more, and where he's lacking, I can pick it up a bit. So I think as a team we work together. I think we work together quite well.
I do.
Sometimes we disagree on stuff, but if we do,
most of
just
the time,
a bit of sparring.
Yeah.
We work it out somehow. But I think we're just, because we're so passionate about what we do, I think it just makes it a lot easier. We love teaching people. We love doing Thai Fit. We love all our Thai Fit students, and it's something that we really enjoy doing. And it's like, it doesn't feel like a job. It really is such a rewarding thing.
Because firsthand, it's changed my life. Drastically. And we are so passionate about it, doing the same to other people. Where I've come from, it wasn't very nice. To where I am now, it's amazing. It's amazing to be able to do that to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some of my students, you know, not very confident to, you know, doing very, very successful at their jobs, and, you know, becoming sociable, you know, more confident, able to look after themselves, look after their families. It does wonders, you know, for your confidence, for your personality, and you know, I just love seeing that. I love seeing, you know, my students and people that we work with blossom into, you know, something so confident and so good. Just to, you know, because a lot of people say, you know, you know, why are you so comfortable in your own skin? And you know, it's comments like that when I see that in my students and, you know, people that we work with, that's, you know, it just makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I think especially for the ladies, like, because I do a lot of teaching ladies only classes, I get quite a few ladies that come down and are quite anxious about exercising, and they've never particularly done anything sporty before, so I think they feel like they're not even sure whether they can do this. And I start with somebody that's quite anxious, quite nervous, doesn't really know how it all works, and give it a couple of months, and they've blossomed into this confident, athletic, like really happy person. And watching it change people's lives, like you said, and people's confidence is such a great thing. Alhamdulillah. We're so lucky that we're able to be a part of that and facilitate that, or help facilitate that in some way, because I think that's amazing, because like you said, it's done a lot for us, but seeing it do what it does for other people, I think is the most rewarding thing. I think it's like, because Thai boxing is such a kind of like complex sport, and it's got so many different weapons that you can use and so many things to learn, I think for me at the early stages, I just wanted to kind of be good at the basics and understand and like master it before I could even think about being on the level of competing, because the guys that were competing at the gym at that time were way ahead of me. So I guess I had them in my sights, but I thought I had to kind of master all the basics first and get good before I could go any further.
Definitely. For myself, you know, I was, you know, very cocky growing up. I wanted to fight straight away. You know, where, you know, I came from, it's like you didn't have to be fit to fight. You didn't know about fitness or endurance. You just wanted to fight. Until obviously I, you know, stepped in the ring for the first time with someone who knew what they was doing, and you realise, you know, you're not as good as you think you are, and you have to put a lot of training and dedication into it. And you know, I got beat up a few times in the gym, and that made me realise that, you know, I'll come back stronger, and, you know, I will become great. And yeah, ever since then, I just wanted to better my skills, get better and compete, and obviously, you know, represent my family, represent my country, and, you know, just be a positive influence.
But I think it's a bit different for guys. I think like when I walked into the gym, I think there was maybe one other girl in there. So you walk into a gym and it's, you know, it's full of guys in there that look like they know exactly what they're doing, and you kind of feel like, you know, a small fish in a big pond. So I felt like I had a long way to go. So I was very dedicated and very committed, and I thought I've got to be as good as these guys and some of the girls that were in there at the time. But, you know, it takes a long time. Well, you know what? It presents its challenges sometimes, but I would always say that the good always outweighs the bad. Even like going to Thailand and doing training camps out there, I always get people coming up to me and asking me questions saying, you know, wow, I've never seen anybody that, you know, wears hijab and trains, and, you know, it always opens discussion and conversation, and I think it's only been a positive thing. And I think, you know, people sometimes, even now, when they see me running down the street, they sort of double look, they kind of look again and think, oh my gosh, what's she doing? But I think it's a good thing, because I love to break stereotypes and make people realise that, you know, we're just as good and better than anybody else. Like, why should we be, you know, at home and not training? So I think, yeah, there are challenges, but, you know, it really is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, the funniest one is when they say to her, you know, oh, are you not hot in your headscarf? And it's like,
yeah.
I'm hot and I don't have a headscarf.
I know, especially in Thailand, they're like, oh, Paul, you're not hot. And I'm like, well, are you hot? It's like, we're all hot here. Yeah. It doesn't make a difference. I've got a little bit extra material. So, but yeah, typical questions.
You know, I think, especially now, you know, with the rise of social media, it's very important. Everyone is very conscious about their weight, about being fit, you know, eating good, and, you know, as you know, the records show that we're living longer now anyways. So, you know, I think it's very important, and it's come at the right time, because everyone is, you know, conscious about being fit and healthy.
There's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of places where you can access, you know, information and things like that. And I've been in this industry for like over 10 years and studied in it, and I grew up with a really healthy family, so I've been really lucky in that sense, alhamdulillah. But For me, health is absolutely everything. Fitness is everything. You know, it's what we've only got one health, and you know we've got to look after it. We've got to nourish it well. We've got to exercise. We've got to make sure we're doing the minimum to give ourselves the best defense. Because sometimes, you know, we're sort of quick to look for, let's say, medicine and drugs and things to fix us. But there's a lot of preventative things that we can do to make sure that we're keeping healthy and we're giving our body the best chance.
You've got 24 hours in the day, and you know you only have to train for an hour or 45 minutes to stay healthy.
Not even that sometimes,
not even that sometimes. So it is actually a lot easier than people think and realise.
How did it start? So that's a good question.
That is a good question, actually. I've, being a man, it's not been hard to go into a gym, full of fighters. It doesn't really bother me, but there's people out there that will think twice before going into a fight gym or a gym with fighters in it. What we want to bring is a concept of training, fitness, and hit sessions that doesn't always have to lead to a fight. People might just want to come in, have a great session, and then go home, get fitter and stronger, but not necessarily have to fight. That scares some people. So that's what we've done. It's a fitness program that uses Thai boxing, but doesn't really require you to fight in any way.
Yeah, so it's basically, the three concepts we have is Muay Thai, HIIT and strength. So there's always an element of strength conditioning. You do a lot of pad work and things like that. And then the session itself is a high intensity interval training session. So we kind of have an environment where people can come in and don't feel threatened by, other fighters or, not wanting to get in the ring, because there's a lot of people that don't want to compete, and we want people to feel like they still get the support from us, even if they don't want to compete. Because I noticed it myself coming up in Thai boxing that people that were competing got a lot of attention from the coaches, and when I wasn't thinking about competing, I felt like I had to work really hard to get some feedback and support from coaches at that time. So I think it just provides an environment where someone who's just had a baby, someone who's going to uni, anyone from any walk of life can come into our session, hit pads, have an amazing session and walk out feeling good, and not have any expectation that they need to step into the ring. They don't have to compete. They just have to want to have fun and enjoy training. And even if they don't enjoy training, they'll come to our class and they'll start enjoying it, because it's really good fun.
Definitely. Our brand Thai Fit is we have a very social group. It's not just about training. We go out, we eat. We go and watch live fights. It's all part of the package. A lot of gyms just go train and then go home and then that's it. We want it to be more social, especially and nowadays. There's not that many healthy options.
I think it makes exercise more exciting and more enjoyable and more fun, because I think if you've got your classmates there waiting for you, and you've all got there's always banter in the class, and like we call it the Thai Fit fam. So it's anyone that's in part of our class is part of our family, and we're here to help everybody, whether you've never done anything before, whether you've never trained at all, whether, like I said, you've just had a baby or whatever it is, or even if you're very experienced, you will fit into our class, because there's all different levels and everything can be scaled and modified to whatever your ability is. So
definitely, especially with the rise of fitness and training, everyone is trying to do full body workouts and all of these kind of different training exercises, whereas Muay Thai is the martial arts of 8 limbs, your hands, your elbows, your knees, your kicks. So we actually for real use the whole body. So it's a great workout. You can burn up to like 800 calories in an hour. So it's good and it's very enjoyable. By the time the hour's finished, you
actually have fun with your training, and I think that's what we want to put across to people. We want to make sure that they're actually enjoying exercise, because it's like anything. If you enjoy it, you're more likely to continue it, and you're more likely to get more out of it because you love it and you enjoy it. So I think we both, from a competitive side, because we've both competed, he's obviously competed at a much higher level, we appreciate the physical demand of Thai boxing. And how it is the toughest sport on the earth, and I think we wanted to provide that intensity, but just for anybody, so anyone on the street can just come in and just experience what these elite athletes are experiencing, and what kind of pad work they're doing. But you don't have to get into the ring. You can just come in, do your pads, have a laugh and go home after. I would say just take baby steps. I would say there's a lot out there at the moment. There's a lot of support. There are a lot of companies out there that even make sports hijabs, so make it easier for us to train. They make modest clothing and things like that that can make it a little bit easier. There's a lot of ladies only classes, like our Thai Fit Ladies Only classes that you can start by, easing yourself into it. But I would just say take baby steps and don't let anything put you off, because, people are always going to have opinions. People are always going to sort of, look at you a funny way, but I think you're doing a positive thing for yourself, and I think that's the most important thing. I would say never let anybody else stop you from doing what you need to do for yourself, and your health and your exercise is one of the most important things that you can
Invest
look
in,
at.
yeah.
Invest in, exactly. So there's a lot out there. Go on social media, there's lots and lots of hijabi sisters that are competing in the Olympics, in all types of top level sports, and just providing a platform that says, what, we're here, we're strong, and we're just as good as everybody else. So don't feel like you're the only one out there. There's lots of other sisters training, and there's lots of other companies that are providing, clothing and things to make it comfortable for you to train in. So don't let anything put you off. I would just ask them where did they get the information that women shouldn't be doing any sports. That would be my first question. So where are the facts for that? Because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have anything. As we know, it's sunnah to look after our bodies and to eat well, eat prophetic foods, and exercise and keep our bodies in good health. So I think more than anything, we should make sure that we're keeping up with that sunnah and keeping our bodies healthy. People are always going to have something to say, but I think if anything, wearing hijab is a very liberating thing to do. Having the choice of showing what you want to show when you're outside, when you're in the gym, whatever, is very, very liberating. So I would challenge anyone that says that women shouldn't be doing sports.
Very important. I mean, I keep going back to my past because it was, led me to make the decisions that I made. And growing up, I didn't have very good role models. People, from my area or from where I grew up looked up to the wrong things. They wanted to be like the wrong people. So me not having that, I wanted to be that person for the younger generations. I wanted, the kids that are younger than me, that go to, the school that I went to look up to me. And say, when I'm older, I want to do this. Or if he was able to, go to this school and now look at where he's become, or look at what he's done, then I can do it too. That's what I wanted to be, because I didn't have anyone to look up to. So I wanted to become that person that they did, and that led me to take little steps to fulfill that. So I did some mentoring at my schools. I did mentoring at my local communities, at the youth club.
Work with local
I did loads of charity work, and we raised money and we did events for kids to introduce sports and all of that kind of stuff. So that just opened up various different doors, and allowed me to give back and build such a nice relationship with my community, with the younger generations of my community, that many of them now are older and train. Some of them even compete. Some of them, they're all, into business and, social media. So it's great because, if I wasn't able to open that door, another door could have opened that led to, other things that, might have not been as good. Obviously, I grew up in a rough area. A couple of my friends, were in the wrong. Exactly. And a couple of them, one of them was murdered at my school, one of them died after a party in the area. So it just goes to show how important it is from a young age to be to have the correct role models and to follow the right things, because I didn't have it, and I luckily had great parents and a family that was able to guide me. It's just very, very important to me, and that's why I do what I do. Very loud.
Yeah, people always say that to me. How do I find watching him? I've always watched him since he was an amateur, and I think at that stage it was a lot easier because he was fighting at a lower level. He was just completely outclassing everybody that he came across. And then as he got to the top of the tree, the competition gets tighter, and he's been number 2 in the UK for years and years and years, 3 times world champion now. So each fight carries different stakes, and I think it just, as the stakes get higher and someone's trying to compete for his number 2 slot, or someone's trying to take the belt off him, it does make it a bit more nerve-wracking. And I would say over time I've probably got more nervous, not because I ever think he'll lose. I always know that he'll win, but I think it's just that there's always more. There's more to lose because he's a lot higher up in the tree than he ever was. So people are coming after him, and people want to get his belts and they want to get his spot. So I think it just makes it.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, when I'm competing, it's funny because there's only two voices I can hear, and one is my trainers, and the second is hers. You know, in a room full of 3,000-4,000 people, I will always be able to hear her. So it's good. It's good. You know, one of my highlights of my career has been fighting, obviously all over the world, mostly in America. I fought a few times in America. You know, it's been very, very exciting because Americans, you know, are very, very big on sport. So I would say the highlight of my career would be fighting in America, as well as, you know, obviously representing the UK.
He's fought
all over the world.
The like IFMA championships.
Yep.
So he's represented Team GB all over the world at the games. So that's been pretty good.
You know, but silver medal and a bronze medal, and also a gold medal for the UK.
Do you know what? He took a bit of time off recently, and he had 2 fights last year, and they were pretty exciting fights. So I would say, Thai fight was a really good fight. He had an amazing opponent who's got an amazing record of beating people. He's had over 200 fights, but he outclassed him that day, and then did the same thing a month later and got another world champion, world title belt. So yeah, the last 2 fights that he had were really, really, really exciting for me. So yeah.
Get gloves on and punch something. That's my advice.
Do it now. Don't wait. Don't wait for anything. Just do it now. It's
so easy, honestly. You know.
It's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, just get some gloves on. You know, watch some videos. It's just so lucky nowadays with social media. There's so many videos out there that can, you know, not all the videos are correct or teach you correct things, but it's just so easy to get, you know, to access things that can show you how to. Different types of training, different combinations. You know, just buy a pair of gloves online, buy a punch bag, or come to one of our classes and just start. Because once you start, that's it. You know, you won't.
Even before that, you can even do little home workouts. There's lots and lots of videos on YouTube. There's stuff where you can just do like a little 15-minute HIIT workout just to get your body kind of started up a little bit. But I would say just start now. Plan your week. Plan the days that you're going to train. So if you're just starting up, maybe just plan 3 days in the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Write down what you're going to do on those days and just make sure you stick to it. Make sure you've planned your food around it. Make sure everything's planned so there's no room for you to say, oh, I haven't got lunch, so I'll just grab a burger. Just make sure it's all planned out. Take those baby steps and just make sure you do it. Commit to whatever goal it is that you want, and don't let anything put you off, especially if it's, you know, ladies and it's maybe your hijab or whatever.
Yeah, another important thing is, you know, find a partner in crime. Honestly, because together, you know, you can always push each other, motivate each other. I'm quite lucky. I can, you know, if I have a goal, train by myself or push myself. You know, I don't really need, you know, someone else to push me. But some people aren't like that. So when you find a partner in crime or someone that you know,
find a friend,
someone that's interested, it makes it a lot more enjoyable. And, you know, makes the time pass quicker. And, you know, you've got goals that you want to do, and you compete against each other. So that's another good, you know, trick to help you get started.
And all these home workouts, by the way, if you go on Instagram, there's lots and lots of little 15-10-minute workouts that you can do in the space of your own room or your own house if you don't want to leave the house. So there's definitely no excuse even if you feel like you don't want to leave the house and maybe go for a run outside. You can definitely do stuff at home. So I'd say, have a look online. There's lots. And just make sure you start this week. Don't wait.
Get started.